Hi, it's Jennifer from Belladonna's Botanicals. And tonight I am going to talk a little bit about um roughly a little bit about love magic, and I'm going to give you um a ritual because in this field a lot of what if you do ritual work for hire, and a lot of the products that I sell are, for love magic based things. And, one of the most common things or the common things we see is, do you hex your ex or get your ex back spells? And it's very common. And thinking about love magic and that, and I'm setting aside sort of the gentler love magic of, love drawing or enhancing your relationship and things like that. But I'm focusing more on um the stuff that has to do, I don't want to say malicious intent. Well, if you're hexing your ex, yes, there might be some malicious intent there, but I digress. What I'm talking about is when you have a choice, and I think we've all been there with that, wanting that one ex, the one that got away kind of thing back, and, doing a lot of spells and rituals around that. And what I have found through shadow work, therapy, and things of that nature, is sometimes the best thing to do is let them the fuck go. And there's people don't talk a lot about rituals for doing such things and how to, through magic, through self work, through shadow work, and our spirituality, how we can achieve letting them go. So this is a two-part ritual that I worked out the details for. I'm going to call this part of the X Files EX, not X, because trademark, copyright, etc. But it's a shadow ritual to release resentments and the relationship and everything that kind of built up with the relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be resentment focused. I mean, it could just be kind of like a relationship post-mortem and saying all the things that you need to say. So what this particular ritual is going to entail, the first part is you're going to write a letter to your ex. And it can be as long as it needs to be. It can literally be fuck off. I hope you, etc. Into, it can be a lengthy, 5-page essay on your relationship with them, saying all the things that you want to say, good, bad, ugly, and otherwise. So you really want to put your heart and soul into those words that you write. And this can be by hand. You can write it on, if it's easier for you to type it on your computer, print it out, that is also fine. Whatever works for you. We want this to be how you would do it. And if you want to have a, beautifully handwritten, letter on, fancy parchment, or you want to write this on the back of, a used envelope, go for it. All good here. So what you want to do in that letter is talk about, the relationship, the good things, like I loved you and, saw the potential in this relationship because ... Or, you hurt me, these things happened and transpired. I've always wanted to say this and express how I felt. You really want to put your everything into writing that letter, because that is really going to be the intention on which this ritual focuses, because there really is a lot of magic too. I mean, magic is, a lot. We're saying a lot of things, we're doing things, whether they're incantations, whether they're spells, mantras, etc. So, and this can be done in advance of the ritual, or during, if it's your preference. It depends on how long it's going to be. If it's something like, for me, when I write something of that nature, I might take weeks to write it, or a week to write and edit and revise and write and edit and revise and move things around because that's what it works for me. Now I normally do my rituals very extemporaneously. So that's a very different for me. That's very methodical and planned out. So, but if you feel like, you can just write fluently, during the ritual, and you can get it all out in, that amount of time that you're allowing for the ritual, go for it. So at this point, when you're ready to start the ritual, I would devote a single black candle to the ritual. You can light other candles as you're calling in the spirits you work with. I did a little video kind of clip of what I set my altar up. I'm going to try to insert this in here at some point. Or maybe I'll insert it here if I can. But I lit my candles to Lucifer and Lilith, and I had some other candles burning, incense. I have two like sort of water fountain things that are on my altar, or one's next to my altar. So, however your altar is set up for you. I mean, all of our altars are entirely different, so whatever works for you. You'll want to burn some incense for energy cleansing. Dragon's blood is great. I think I used a mix of sandalwood and frankincense, which is very different for me. I don't usually use those two that often. So you'll want to evoke the spirits and entities that you work with. And this, I called in Lucifer and Lilith, because those are, two of the primary spirits that I work with. But you can call in whoever works for you, whatever, tradition, pantheon, angels, whatever works, ancestors, spirit guides, anything that you want to work with for this, that will really give you the support that you need during this ritual, because it's almost like a purging of that relationship. So once you have done that, you want to read the letter you wrote out loud with passion, as if the words were exercising the relationship, the love, the resentments from your body. And you might get emotional during this. You might start crying. You might start screaming. You might have some big emotions around this, because you're really letting go of something that was big and that was part of your life. Now, this is something that you can do for just one relationship, or if you have had, a string of multiple relationships and you're still kind of hanging on to parts of things and there's stuff you feel like you really need to let go of, you can do this for as many relationships as you want. Excuse me. It's up to you. And you can do them individually. You can do them all at the same time. I was polyamorous for a while, so sometimes if you're in that spectrum, you might be seeing multiple people at the same time. So, or things relate to one another. Again, however it works to you. So that would be the first step. So you want to take that letter, you can fold it up, roll it up, whatever, and you will put it in your cauldron. Now, for this, you're going to want, obviously, at any point in time during the ritual where you feel comfortable. I did it at the beginning, is make an offering to the spirits that you work with. I did a little finger prick blood offering. So you can close the ritual there and wait, or you can go right into the second part of the ritual. And at this point, what you're basically having a ritual to eulogize the death of that relationship. So basically, you want to have kind of like basically a ritual funeral, for lost love. So now that you've released those feelings, any resentments, lingering hopes and love for the the fantasy of that return, that you want to speak a eulogy for the relationship like you would at a funeral. So, you can look up online. There's plenty of examples of how to write a eulogy. I thankfully have never had to write one before, but you would want to. I use sort of the model of, thank you, spirits, for being here today. I'm honored to have shared this time in a relationship with insert person's name and remembering our relationship together. I met so and so in, the year whatever, and in Philadelphia, and knew this person was special, dot dot dot. You want to describe the process of how you met them, the good things from the relationship, the feelings, the special moments, the experiences, and how the relationship ended. And again, this can be a lot of big emotions can come up during this time, but you want this to be the time of remembrance where you're like, okay, I've let go of the hurt, the resentments, and all of that, and you're ready to move on and bury the relationship. And kind of in closing with that, like, I know I'll always miss so and so, and our time together will always be special, but let us not mourn the end of the relationship, but celebrate the best of times together and move forward without pain and trauma. And you can word this any way you want. That's just kind of what I kind of found that worked for me. So now you're going to want to take the letter that you wrote in the first part of the ritual, and you're going to want to burn it. How you choose to burn it is up to you. I just know, like, I'm on the East Coast, it's winter and it's a rainy day, so I had to kind of burn it very slowly because I kept setting off my smoke detectors. You can also use our Spellfire blends for that. And so also one thing I wanted to point out, notice I didn't add any adding any kind of ritual oils or powders or herbs or anything, because this is a very bare bones ritual in that sense, that you can do with basically a candle and some incense and a piece of paper. So once you have burned the letter fully in your cauldron, now you can dispose of this, and if you have a particular method in which you dispose it, I tend to take the cauldron, cast the ashes into the wind, and go from there. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can also mix the ashes with water in a jar or bottle, probably a bottle, and then freeze it for a lunar cycle. So it's currently the full moon. So I would do it from the full moon to the new moon. If you started on the new moon, you could do it new moon to the full moon. So you would want to freeze it for that lunar cycle. Or if you have any other preferred methodology, if you work within planetary magic, there might be certain planetary hours and alignments that you're working with as well. And if you're doing that method of freezing it in the water, after that time has passed, you want to release the ashes and the water into a moving body, or into the moving body of water. So like a creek or river or whatever that works, ocean, wherever you happen to be that has a waterway. If you have no options, a sewer is theoretically fine. A storm drain, that sort of thing. So anyways, so that's kind of, you would close the ritual then the way that you normally do. If you feel the necessary to do the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram afterwards. If you like, I would probably take a spiritual bath. I would do some energy cleansing in that sense, and work, journal. I think journaling after this one would be really important to kind of note what came up for you, how you felt, and especially kind of looking at it in the days after it. Did this change your mindset at all? Do you feel like you've let go of this and released it and aren't holding on to the hope of getting your ex back or getting revenge on your ex or something like that? Sometimes it's best to just move on and walk away without pain and anger. and to let those things go. It's not easy. Believe me. 47 years on the planet, not easy. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys today. And yeah, I've been having so much, like, I don't know if I'm making up for the fact that this year was really hard. And I had a major depressive episode during it, but I've been having like a massive creativity burst for like the past few weeks. Like, I don't know. I'm on like the vampire sleeping schedule. Like, I'm up all night writing rituals, downloading Gnosis, getting messages from my spirit guides, or entities that I work with, and all of that. So anyways, I hope this ritual helps some of you out there. And if it's something you try, let me know how it works for you. And um dark blessings and lots of love on this full moon.